My name is Cheryl and I'm a Talking Point producer. So recently I went to Cambodia with our host Diana Sir to expose love scam syndicates there. We decided to cover this story because even though love scams are as old as time, the scale of operations and also the sophistication of the tactics are nothing like before.
I invested close to 50k into this investment platform. Within 2 days, it's gone.
So these love scams are called pig butchering scams or 杀猪盘 in Chinese. So scammers refer to their victims as pigs, whereby they would fatten up the pig by developing a relationship before slaughtering the pig when they have scammed all their money. It's more insidious in a way because victims are not directly giving money to their online fake lovers, but instead scammers would convince victims to invest money for their own good. A lot of these victims are highly educated professionals as well, so they could be working in fields like medicine, accountancy, and even law. So in Cambodia, we managed to reach out to scammers through the help of anti-scam organizations. These organizations shared copies of actual work scripts obtained from scam syndicates. What I'm going to do in this video is highlight some of the tactics in these work scripts that you can look out for, so that you can tell if someone you met online might be trying to scam you. Love scammers are recruited from all over Asia in countries like China, Thailand, and Malaysia. Around 2016, the first targets were victims in China and Taiwan. But as the awareness of these scams increased, it becomes harder to scam victims there. So syndicates expanded their scope to target victims in America, Europe, Japan, and even Singapore. So Singapore became one of the key targets because our awareness is not as high, and also because there are plenty of wealthy people here. The first step that scammers would take is to 寻猪, to identify the pig, or basically potential victims, and they would find victims in social media and dating sites like OkCupid, CMB, Tinder. According to this data by Gaso, 2 in 5 victims were targeted by scammers on Facebook linked platforms like Instagram and WhatsApp. And say if you're a business owner who has posted your contact details online, they may even pose as potential customers to try to talk to you through WhatsApp. Scammers are instructed to chat casually with the victims to dig out personal information from them.
第一天主要培训的内容就是获取客户的个人信息，姓名、年龄、国籍、有没有车子、房子、存款、有没有结婚。
Scammers are reminded to dig out information indirectly from the victims so that they wouldn't feel like they're being interrogated. So for instance, if they want to find out how wealthy you are, they may ask you a casual question like, how far is your home from your office? So if you say something like, it's not very far because I drive to work, then they would have an indication that you are able to afford a car. And one of the documents here say that if a victim earns less than 2,000 USD per month, then the scammer may drop this victim because the payoff is less. And from the documents, we find that they actually have a daily breakdown of what they should say and how they should say it to sustain your interest. And that begins the process of 养猪, which is to groom the pig by developing a relationship. This process can take anywhere from days to months, which is what one of our victims in the episode Mavis experienced.
For about 4 months, we will talk on the phone every night, at least a good half an hour to 1 hour. Sometimes he will invest more time during the day and chat with me. I didn't suspect anything at all.
So there are various tactics that scammers can use to get emotionally closer to you. So they call this 话术, which is conversation techniques. So one of the things they will do is to try to share a similar interest with you. Whatever your interests are, be it traveling, golf, or tea, they would have a cheat sheet of what to talk to you about so as to sustain your interest. And this is also the time whereby they will go into deeper topics like your past relationships. And one technique that they will use is the mirroring technique. So if they wish for you to open up more about your past relationships, they will try to do it first by sharing about stories like if their ex cheated on them or if they went through a divorce. So when you try to share your stories with them, then they will comfort you emotionally to deepen the relationship with you.
他们讲的就是说用3个字概括，就叫摄心术。每个人内心当中都有一份需求，我们按照他的内心的那种需求，去达到他心理上的一种满足。像离异的，就跟他了解他孩子的情况啊。
当你知道他内心需求的时候，也就是他最脆弱的时候，对不对？
啊，对，是的。
So some people may say like, how can people fall for these stories because they're so fake, right? But in these work scripts, the scammers are told specifically to remain a sense of realness. As with all relationships, they might even pretend to argue with you to make it more believable. Like for instance, if you are skipping meals and not taking care of yourself, or you're spending too much time with the opposite sex. One of the documents actually say here that in order to avoid suspicion, scammers should be the one to ask victims whether they can meet up or video call them first. And when the date comes, they would then come up with excuses to say that they can't make it. Based on statistics from Global Anti-Scam Organization, even though men do get targeted as well, women made up 2/3 of the reported pig butchering scam victims last year. But this could be a result of how scam syndicates perceive women. So I got hold of this document. It outlines the supposed psychological characteristics of women. Scammers think that women are rather fragile and timid, so scammers need to provide more security and a sense of assurance. And it writes here that women are rather vain, so scammers would have to shower women with more compliments.
为什么要特别要骗女生呢？
因为女生的话，她那个思想以及反诈意识观念没有男生强，所以更容易入手。首先从认识到认知，再到谈恋爱，女生就会陷入到这感情的漩涡当中去，无法自拔。之后就是我们就可以牵着他们的鼻子，跟着我们走，我们叫他干什么，他就干什么。
这句话是谁说的？是你本身打自心里说的，还是
骗子说的话？
The final step would be to 杀猪 to butcher the pig. At this point, scammers will introduce investment platforms to you with the promise of high returns. One emphasis they have is to never hard sell the platforms to victims. One common term that always comes up is the term 铺垫, which is to lay emotional groundwork for the stories that they will share with you after. Mavis shared with us that her scammer would only talk about how he has a side hustle of investing. He wouldn't talk about investing really deeply until a month after conversing.
He will not try to sell me or to get me to join. He will only show me his profits. Only after I approached him seeking his help, he took the opportunity to bring me along.
Another common term that we see in the workbooks is the term now, which is brainwashing. So over time, scammers will slowly manipulate your thoughts to make you think of investments more favorably. So scammers will engage in casual conversations with you, and if the conversation is going well, they may subtly ask you to invest small amounts into these investment platforms.
He asked me to put money into this platform, but I was very reluctant. He just tell me, I'll just deposit this 520 for you. It means my love to you. My profit is actually 100%. He immediately prompted me to withdraw this to my bank account. Definitely, I feel, wow, really has such thing.
And that is what makes a lot of victims feel that the platforms are legitimate. Scammers may even tell you things like, I think it's better to withdraw our money now and not invest more today, to make them seem more knowledgeable about the investment trends and to make you trust that they have your interest at heart. But of course, all these websites are controlled at the back end, all the way from customer service to what you see on the websites. Once they've got you hooked onto the platform, it becomes like a normal investment activity that couples do. He will say things like, since I'm going to invest $10,000, I hope that you will do the same. And when you start to doubt the platform, that's when they will start to gaslight you. They will say things like, are you not trusting the platform because you're not trusting me?
先让客户投资，让他们尝到一点甜头，利用培养感情的方式，把他们养得白白胖胖的。之后把他们的钱财榨空的时候，他们幡然醒悟，就断掉所有联系方式，把他们杀掉。
这些受过高深教育啊，或者是专业的女人，有什么好骗？怎么可以骗到他们？
就只有通过更加高深莫测的方法去引他们上钩。
高深莫测是什么意思？
一个小组有4个人，如果说有遇到不懂的问题，我们可以相互请教，实在不懂的话，我们就去问小组长，然后再回复客户。
比如说我是目标对象，我不只跟一个人沟通，我同时可能会跟一整组男人在沟通。
啊，对。
The scamming industry is rather labor intensive, and that is why a lot of the scammers were in fact trafficked there.
我也是个受害者，之前被绑架，然后一直困在诈骗园区里面，每天就被奴役着做我不想做的事情。
Naturally, there are doubts when I heard his story because it sounded like it came out from a movie scene. But after months of working on this story, I heard countless of victim testimonies from anti-scam organizations, and their stories all correspond with Mr. Lee's. Every other day, these organizations would send me photos or videos of scammers who are tasered or beaten up when they failed to scam or when they tried to escape. These really made me believe that Mr. Lee's story is not unique at all, and there are many more others like him. Actually, when the Talking Point crew was filming in Sihanoukville, Cambodia, we were warned by locals that it's going to be quite dangerous because there were reports of shootings and kidnappings. So when we were there, we tried to film as much as we can from the van, and we also hired a bodyguard as well. I hope you found these insights into how scam syndicates operate useful. We often don't think that we'll fall victim to scams because surely we can tell if someone's out there to con us, right? But as our investigation shows, the psychological tactics that scammers use can be so much more sophisticated than before, and some may play the long game. If you're talking to someone online right now and you suspect that he or she might be a scammer, call this anti-scam hotline for advice or visit scamalert.sg. If you've been a victim of a scam, please share your story with us because it might just prevent someone else from becoming a victim. Email us at talkingpoint@mediacorp.com.sg or tell us in the comments below. Do share this video with your friends and family. The more we spread awareness, the less likely scammers can succeed in fooling others. Thanks for watching this episode. Do check out more videos on CNA Insider and remember to hit the subscribe button.